What's happening, people? It's been a little while before you saw what you need. I'm back. I'm not what you need. Sorry, my bad. Christ, I am disciple. I'm Anson Phillip. You guys haven't seen my channel for a long time, but do remember you can subscribe, share, and you can donate to my channel via Western Union MoneyGram. I'm going to give you a short review of the Joker movie. Surprisingly, Joker was actually funny. It was a funny movie. It was a funnier movie than I thought it would be. You guys can always join in the chat. Give your comments in this chat. This is a live stream. I actually enjoyed it. It was a very enjoyable movie. Um, it was sort of Joker's take on his life, um, and while it was a tragedy, we could see how it is a comedy. And it's interesting that this comedy doesn't need to be shared by everyone, as Joker even rationalized and made sense of the ironies of things. We see that uh, the character, we see when he transitions into the Joker, uh, when he liberates himself and from his attachment to his mother, liberates himself from the attachment to uh, the girl that he liked and daughter. He liberates himself and he frees himself up to become this individual. You can see it slowly happening. Um, After his first uh, violent killing, where he frees himself, after that subway train incident, where he finally starts to release that pent up rage and pent up uh, depression, dissidence. He frees himself when he uses the gun and shoots these guys who are not really good people. But the one thing I've noticed, and he started to embrace his laughter. The one thing I noticed about his laughter was it was always something that was ironical or really funny that made him laugh. And he would just involuntarily laugh after that and keep on laughing. And we know he had the problem, the syndrome with laughing, right? But what was interesting too was the fact that he was a person who still had a sense of morality within him. And I found that very interesting. But I could see the Joker actually coming out more and more. When he's coming down the steps, you feel the Joker and the energy of the Joker as he's becoming what he is. And he sees how mean people really are. And I think the Joker is able to highlight and he's able to sort of almost be a sort of retribution to the way how the society was there, how it was so callous and indifferent and very harsh and mean towards weaker people. Of course, this is his perspective on things, but what's beautiful about it, I thought it was a straightforward movie, to be honest with you. I think what made the movie really good for me, and sort of a catharsis for me, was the sense of how the Joker, as weird as sometimes some of the situations were, how he had the sense of humor, or the situational humor was there that made things funny. For example, when the police officers came to him. By the way, the story about the Joker is like this. It's about this gentleman. We see him begin as a clown, and he has a job as a clown in the Laugh Factory or something like that. It's called. And I think I have the wrong name, but it doesn't matter. I saw the Joker over the weekend. I think when did I see it? No, I saw it last week Tuesday. But the thing about the Joker movie is there's a lot of tragedy and sadness, but it's also comical. I'll give you an example. But let me get into the story. So the story basically of the Joker centers around this individual, which I forgot his name. It's funny, but and he ends up being the son of Thomas Wayne. He's Bruce Wayne's older brother. His mother had hid this information from him for a long time. And then when he finally finds out that he was with his mother, who was supposed to be with Thomas Wayne, but he disowned her. And on top of that, his mother was with these different men, and these different men had abused him as a child. So he discovers this after finding out, he's been trying a lot of things in his life, and he's been abused for most of his life. and now he finds out why he's always the subject of abuse, even though she nicknamed him Happy, and he was supposed to bring happiness and cheer to the world, and he tried to do that. And he's a very simple-minded, gentle individual who was seeking to do this, but the world was so mean. And what's interesting about him, is that he discovers these things, that he was this discarded individual, that his mother kind of abandoned him and let him to be abused, that he had a horrible upbringing and childhood. And the story shows him being abused. In fact, in the beginning of the whole movie, he's actually abused by some young kids who destroy his sign and beat him up. Then he loses his job as a result of that. A guy who how he actually loses his job is funny. He gets in trouble first for that, and then he ends up a so-called friend of his gives him a gun to protect himself out there. He ends up in his performance in the old people's home dropping the gun in the middle of his performance. Is hilarious. And he has to pick back up the gun. That's reported to the boss. His friend rats him out and lies about him, and he loses his job. This coming while he's trying to be a comedian, he's trying to make humor as well, and he's made fun of by one of the mainstream comedians out there, and he's asked to come on the program. This happens as he's getting very, very depressed. As he has to take care of his sick mother, and he doesn't have a job anymore, and his situation is going downhill. He ends up, his mother gets so sick that what happens is he's going home. He's lost his job. He's going home on the subway train, and then these guys are harassing a woman, and they so want to try and get her phone number and kind of suit her, that they're now throwing stuff that they eat at her, but she's not budging. So they're trying everything to get in her favor. She's not taking them on, and that becomes the subject of humor to I forgot what his name is, but I'm going to call him Happy. And Happy starts laughing, and he's in a clown outfit, and he's cracking up over it. And the lady now takes that opportunity to leave those guys as a distraction. She leaves, and Happy laughs even more. And of course, he has this involuntary laugh thing that goes on, and so he ends up laughing way, 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 way much. And the other guys come, and he can't stop laughing, and the other guys think he's laughing in mockery of them. So they turn around and start beating the shit out of him. And while they're beating the shit out of him, he has a gun. So he pulls his gun that his friend gave him, and he shoots them and kills them multiple times. One gets away, and he still shoots. He follows him up and shoots him to death. And that liberates him. And Happy, after he gets home, he's a different person after that. And he goes to, this is a long story, but the girl who he had been eyeing and stalking and all this shit, he goes to her and he kisses her and stuff, and he's kind of with her. But he's really freed, and he doesn't care. And goes to the office of the place where he's fired, gets his stuff, and leaves. And while he's leaving, he's making a joke about it. And he doesn't care. You can tell he's kind of freed up now. He doesn't care what people think. He doesn't care about anything. He's just freed, and he's detaching himself slowly from all the problems in the world, and he's just going into his own space, in his own place, and he just feels free and refreshed to do things differently. And he gets this call to go on the Murray show. The guy is Murray that is going to call him up on the show to make fun of him. But he doesn't know that. And so he's called up to go to the show. He's very excited about that. He says, okay, fine. Because he looked up to this guy. His mother was playing Maury and everything. So he decides he's going to go on the show. And he dresses up as the Joker. And you can see the transformation where he's painting up himself and everything. His mother, of course, she's in the hospital. And then he finds out all of these things about how his upbringing and stuff is. And he goes to the hospital, kills his mother. And then he proceeds to go to the girlfriend's place and kill her and the daughter. And he now moves off free. He's freed of all these other attachments. So he's getting himself freed up. And then he goes out there and he He goes out there and goes to the Maury show. And in the meantime, the subway killings and stuff, the police are investigating this. The people who are from Wayne Enterprises, that have been killed, people who are poor, lower class people, you know, uh, with these killings, people kind of start to rise up and kind of identify with the guy who killed these two wealthy guys who work for Wayne Enterprises. And then Bruce Wayne's father makes the most ignorant statement ever. All the people, Wayne Enterprises is trying to help all these people, and anybody who's identifying with the killer, they're clowns. And so the people took that as an insult, and so people started revolting. And so this guy, Happy used to go to a psychologist to get social thing where he could voice his concerns and shit. And the social services was closed down. They closed that down and everything, so he didn't have that outlet anymore. And Thomas Wayne was going to be the person who was running things, trying to get voted into office so he could help people, so he says. Yet he was very insultive about the people. And so what eventually happens is Happy goes up on the Maury show. He's dancing. He could really dance and move and stuff. He goes up on the Maury show, kisses the psychiatrist lady who was supposed to evaluate him, and sits down. And Murray, starts to question him and stuff, and is really going down a line of questioning to make him look stupid. Says, tell us a joke and stuff like that. But Happy basically breaks down the truth of what he thinks, that certain things don't have to be funny, but for him it could be funny, and it doesn't matter what people think anymore. And basically Happy was like, he break down that Murray and all the wicked things, and the guys in the subway who died, he admitted to everybody on camera that he killed the people in the subway, and that they were not nice people, they were mean people. And he said, then he looked at Murray and said, like, just like you're trying to make me look like I am a person who, is crazy and all these things. You brought me on the show just to kind of expose me like that. And then he shoots Murray and kills him. And after killing Murray, he, I think he leaves the place. And there's chaos out there. There's a lot of chaos because people are protesting. And so he goes into the middle of these protests and stuff. Even before that, he was going in the middle of protests. But he goes into the middle of protests, and there's all kinds of craziness happening out there. No, I think the police actually arrested him. So he was going in the police car, and there was all this protest. And the protesters crashed into the police car and took him out with the police car. And basically, he was kind of the hero of the day when he recovered. And then he ended up in the psychiatric ward at the end of the story. And there, he is being interviewed by a psychiatrist because he's in an insane asylum. He ends up killing her. You see him walking out with the blood and stuff. And then you see another intern chasing him down. And that's how the story ends. He's just chasing him down everywhere. He's like cuckoo crazy, and he's just laughing, and he's running all around the place like a madman. And the Joker, there are aspects of the Joker. By the way, also Thomas Wayne is killed, and his wife when they're leaving a cinema because, again, the people are protesting and they didn't like him, and so they killed him. But Bruce remains alive. And the Joker, he's laughing at that. To him, it's funny because, again, the irony of the situation, that the guy who says he's going to save Gotham and all of this stuff, he gets killed. And he sees it coming. And this guy disowned him as a father and beat him up and all that stuff. And then the retribution came full circle on him. Now, the interesting thing about this take of Joker, it's not fitting into the comic books perfectly, but the one thing that I found very interesting is the development of Joker. Like for this particular movie, I can see how Joker becomes Joker because Joker doesn't give a fuck. Joker's a guy that's very chaotic, doesn't give a fuck, and enjoys the joke, the irony, the joke of a situation. Other people may not enjoy the joke, but he enjoys the joke, and he sees the joke. He's not the most funny guy in the world, the Joker, But that's the point. The point is the irony of the situation that makes it funny. And so we end up laughing a number of times in the movie because of that irony and that situational irony. Like, for example, like I said before, police was investigating him at the hospital. What happened was they told his mother, and they was trying to get information out of his mother, about, Happy's life and stuff, because they were trying to find out information on the guy who was actually killed the people. So here he is, his mother's in the hospital because she got a heart attack because they were interviewing her, pressing her very hard about him. And of course he said he denied the issue, and he said he's going to go up and see his mother, and he just slams headlong into the entranceway, the exitway, sorry. The door is closed. There's all these little funny things that happen in the movie, and to me it's just funny. And even his laugh is funny. His laugh is hilarious because he laughs at in the movie, he laughs at these awkward moments, or sometimes he laughs in cue with everybody else, but it's just so hilarious, it stands out. And I like calling him Happy because he literally is happy. In a funny way, he makes everybody tickle. He tickles people. And throughout this movie, there's this underlying theme where you're going to chuckle. You're going to chuckle or you're going to laugh. You're going to laugh in this movie. At some horrendous things, but you're still going to laugh at it. And I think, though, it's because of the ideology and the angle and the point of view we're getting from Happy's point of view. Sometimes he's imagining things, but most of the time it's realism. And the thing about the Joker in this movie, he almost feels like a hero, but he's not. He's not a hero. He's a terrible person. But the thing about it that makes it interesting is, like I said before, seeing a grounded point of view of how someone can move into being the Joker. A lot. Even though I listen to the actor, Joaquin Phoenix say that, we don't really have a reason why, motivation for him being the Joker. I think we do. We see that he's been abused. And because he's been abused, but he never knew he was abused like that and discarded and thrown aside, because of that, he had this inferiority complex, and he compressed and suppressed everything within him, all the anger and fury and rage at all the wickedness that people was doing to him. And finally it exploded when he smashed that guy's head against the wall so many times that his head was just destroyed. And then the short little guy who was terrified of him, and he spooked him, and it was really funny. But he let him live, and he let him go his way to call the police. But the point is, he no longer was attached to anything. Consequence meant very little to him. He could not be touched. And that's an essence of the Joker. The Joker was the guy that pushed the edge on things because he did not care about the results anymore. It did not matter because life sucked anyway. So by freeing himself from consequence, which is what the Joker does, he gets into this space of craziness and wanting people to understand that space of funny and craziness, and how craziness can be funny. I think that's what makes the Joker the Joker, and I think this movie literally brings that out in an obvious way, and I really enjoy that. And I think that's his motivation for becoming the Joker was because he was abused as a child, and then he found out this is the source of abuse. Now he was striking back, and he was getting that empowerment from doing so. And not only was he striking back, but he was freeing himself from all the constraints that society brought on him. And now he had no constraints anymore, and he was just a kooky kind of guy that was very dangerous. But for the most part, he's a kooky kind of guy that finds humor in everything. And I think he embraced his laughter even, and now he understood why he laughed like that, because he was abused so badly that he literally kind of epitomized happy. He was going to be happy regardless. And he embraced that side of him as well, as not a flaw, but just a part of his, how he was shaped because of his situations. So I just feel that the Joker movie is pretty. I think it's pretty straightforward in that respect. And I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was going to be much more scary, and they said it was more like a horror movie, but it's actually tastefully done. They didn't show him killing any kids. They didn't show him killing the girlfriend. They didn't show him killing the woman. But you get the idea of what happened. We did see him suffocate his mother, but they didn't show you actually suffocating her. You weren't seeing her getting suffocated. You just saw him take the pillow and stuff. But you can see he's removing anything that he cares about. He was removing those things that were just too much, too complicated, that caused a lot of problems. He decided, you know what, I'm going to kill this stuff off, okay? And he literally killed it off, and with vengeance. you know. So you could feel the anger and rage that was pent up in him, and he was able to finally release it. And I think that's what the gun did for him. I think that's what he did with his friend that betrayed him. I think it's what he did with his mother, who he felt betrayed him as well. The girlfriend, and daughter, which reminded him of him and his mother, and so he just killed them off too. He didn't want any memories or any thoughts of anything that kind of held him back. He just wanted to kind of free himself from that and move forward. So that's what you saw in the movie. Now, and that explains the Joker. The Joker's kind of like that. He doesn't really have any attachments. Harley Quinn, for a little bit, he does not like Harley Quinn. He doesn't like attachments. You know, she's kind of like he will betray her. He doesn't care. You know, that's the Joker. So I feel like you can see the aspects of the Joker in this movie, even though it's not pure canon. You know, and I think it's more of a real world take on what the Joker would be like if he was to be the Joker. This is what he would be like. And so you can see that at the end of the movie, and you can see the craziness and the kookiness of him. Almost the playful kookiness, funny, playful kookiness of him. But still at the same time, very dangerous, right? And so that's where I see the Joker. It's a cathartic thing for anyone who has been felt abused or has felt like they've been in a bad situation where people screwed them over. I think there's a certain catharsis to it when you watch this movie. And you don't have to be a psychopath to do that. You're not going to kill anyone or anything, but I'm just saying there's a certain degree of catharsis to it. And I think the Joker movie is an interesting movie. I think that's why it's grossed over $1 billion right now, which is very successful. Warner Brothers having the next hit, and again, it's along the lines of Zack Snyder's kind of take on movies, a more serious take on movies. Aquaman was not that serious, but this movie is doing very, very well, and it leads to the Snyder Cut, which is what I'm going to lead to. The Snyder Cut is finished. We know this for a fact now. Okay, Jason Momoa basically said that. That was in his words. He was alluding to it, but basically said that. We all know that Junkie XL score is finished. So the whole entire movie is done. There's a take of the movie that's entirely done. So it's really up to Warner Brothers now to release this movie, or either give the rights over to Zack Snyder so that he can release it with his company. Independently, or through a network like HBO, or through independent movie. I do hope Warner Brothers allows Zack Snyder to release this cut of his movie, because I do believe that a lot of people will enjoy it, and at the same time, we already had Justice League, and people already bashed that movie, so it didn't really matter if Zack Snyder's cut comes out, because even if people label, moan, and below, and whatever, that is gone. I mean, it's gone. It's in the past, so it doesn't really matter. So we just want to see the Snyder Cut. Movement has been doing a lot of great things, and I look forward to more of the Snyder Cut out there. All right. So that's my breakdown of the Joker movie. I know I've been out of commission for a while, folks. This is a live stream. Don't forget you can donate, subscribe to this channel. You can donate via Western Union or MoneyGram online if you want to. I can give you the specifics. Don't forget you can do that. But that's basically it for the movie, man. I hope that you guys enjoyed my video. Got some polls I'm going to put up. But otherwise, I hope everything's good. Don't forget you can chat right now in the chat section. Any questions you have for me, let me know. Guys in the chat section who want to talk to me now. You got the opportunity. It's a live stream. Got a lot of other interesting things to talk about when it comes to not just the Snyder Cut, but also to another upcoming DC movie that's coming out next year, which is Wonder Woman 84. I'm looking forward to that movie as well. Not as much as Star Wars at the end of this year. The Return of Skywalker. I'm interested in that as well. That's about it for movies, though. And me and movies. I'm not really a hot fan of everything. Damian Atavista, what's up, bro? Release the Snyder Cut. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's about time. It's about time we see it now. Everything's come out. It's a full version of it and everything. So it's about time we see the Snyder Cut. I'm looking forward to seeing the Snyder Cut. And hopefully Warner Brothers has been listening to a lot of people. The movement has done so many good things. It's about time we see it. So hopefully we get to see the Snyder Cut very soon. I'll pay to see it for sure. I hope it goes in cinemas at some point. Love to see it on the big screen. Joker movie was good. Looking forward to Star Wars and then Wonder Woman 84 next year. And that's about it for me with movies. Good night, Anson. Just tuned in. Yes, bro. How you doing? I haven't been up on Twitter, but I'm go up on Twitter and see what's happening with the Snyder Cut information and stuff soon. Man, I'm sleepy. Oh. Been mostly on my other channel doing boxing. But I'm back out here. So when you guys are ready to talk, let's talk, man. Let's talk. The recent developments have been great. Oh man, I want to go to sleep. I gotta wet those plants. I'm gonna talk to y'all later though. I don't really have much more to say for now. I'm not really talking a lot of movies because a lot of the DC movies don't really interest me. And of course, I am not really interested in any Marvel movies, to be honest with you. But I hope you guys have a good night. I'll be looking forward to sharing more information with you guys concerning the Snyder Cut. I'm going to check and see how much Joker has made at the box office. I haven't really looked. Has it crossed $1 billion yet? Hope so. I'll catch y'all guys later. I'm out of here. This is Christ I Am Disciple, a.k.a. Anson Phillip. And I'm out of here for now. But I'll try and catch you guys a little bit later. I'm good. Joker was awesome. Yeah, it was a good movie, man. It was a good movie. Funny. I thought it was funny. I didn't find it as heavy and serious as I thought it would be. I think there were funny moments in the movie. And, it ended up being a movie in which this guy finds out that he can have an impact on the world. Yeah. Well, peoples, I'm out of here. Shout out to you again, Anton Vincent, Damien Anton Vincent. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace.